It is the currency against gold. That's how those overnight revaluations, they take something that has no intrinsic value, so in this country, dollars, and they revalue it against something that is all intrinsic value, which is gold, because of its many uses. So I can buy those collectible coins well below the true fundamental value of an ounce of gold, which is somewhere north of $15,000 right now.
If you invest in precious metals, you must have noticed the roller coaster ride in gold and silver prices. Among other things, precious metal prices are sensitive to seasonal trends and world events. To varying degrees, gold and silver can provide a hedge against potential economic and market downturns, as well as prolonged periods of rising inflation. Understanding the difference between how the two metals are used, their economic sensitivities, and their technical characteristics can help you determine which metal may benefit your portfolio. In today's video, we will tell you about how Lynette Zang's shocking prediction on gold and silver. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update. For thousands of years, precious metals such as gold and silver have been used as currency, investment, and a symbol of wealth. The key points that attract investors to these metals are their long history as a store of value, their low correlation with the often volatile financial markets, and their usefulness as an inflation hedge. According to Lynette Zang, US dollar is the currency against gold. Central banks have hoarded more gold in 2022, but more gold in 2022 than they ever have since 1967, when we were moving from a quasi-gold standard to a debt standard. They take something that has no intrinsic value and revalue it against something that has intrinsic value, which is gold, because of its many uses. But the reason central banks generally hold gold is because they know what they are doing to currencies. And in fact, a lot of what we're seeing right now, we also saw in the 1960s and 1970s, when we were transitioning from one currency standard, at least a quasi-gold backed standard, to a debt-backed standard. So it's not as unique as you'd like to think. All we have to do is look at the base. There are four fundamental pillars of money. It's a measuring tool, a bartering tool, a short-term store of value, so that you can make sure that you're getting paid fairly for your work right now, and a store of value term, so that no matter what you use that money, you always get paid fairly for your work, because that's what we work for. They've already removed the third one on purpose for inflation, because inflation guarantees that you can't buy the same amount of goods and services for your money in the future as today. But once we get into this purely digital CBDC and they talk about negative rates, they move that third pillar where you can't even get paid fairly for your work today because it's immediately deposited into an account subject to negative rates. They can have their finger on the button constantly in real time. We are a consumer-driven economy. If the consumer tries to economize, it is not good for a consumer-driven economy. But if you are sitting watching your principal disappear and you don't spend it, it disappears because of the negative rates. He takes that money and spends it. Take that money and put it somewhere where you might have a chance to retain its value as a bartering tool. If you read their documentation, it's all part of the plan where they can dictate how you spend it, where you spend it, and how much you can spend. If you can't, how long that currency lives. Your money is no longer valid. You can't spend it anywhere if we do not agree with their policy, if we do not follow them. And that's why it's so important to take control now. Let's all unite in community and say no and buy gold and silver. But above all, gold, because it's the primary currency metal. And it's been proven for thousands of years, but it's actually out of the system.
This is why it's so critical to get control of it now, for us to all come together in community and say no and buy gold, which is actually, and silver, but mostly gold because that's the primary currency metal and it's proven for thousands of years, but it truly is outside of the system.
That's all for today. Let us know your views in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this video before leaving. Thanks for watching.